In this video I'll show you the top 18 chord progressions that use major 7th chords, and our first chord progression is 1, 1 major 7th, 4, 5. A nice and simple progression to begin with. Here we take all the major chords from a major key and add some variation by moving from the standard 1 chord to the major 7th. You can hear an example of this in Believe by Cher. At number 17 is 1, 4 major 7th, 5, 6. In major keys, chords 1 and 4 can be played as major 7ths without any problems. This example is our first look at the 4 major 7th in a simple and pleasing progression. You can hear this in Haven't Met You Yet by Michael Bublé. Next up is number 16 and 4 major 7th, 1 major 7th, 4 major 7th, 1 major 7th. This example was a simple vamp between the 4 and 1 major 7th chords. This is quite a popular technique. You can hear it in Time by Pink Floyd, Gymnopédie No. 1 by Eric Satie, and Here's Where the Story Ends by the Sundays. In at 15 is 1 major 7th, 3, 4, 3, 2 minor 7th, 1 major 7th. Major 7th chords also pair nicely with minor 7th chords. This enhances the smooth mellow feel of each chord. You can hear this in the timeless What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong. Next up is 1, second inversion 3, 4 major 7th, 3. In this example, a second inversion 3 chord is used to lead to the 4 major 7th. You can hear this in the excellent Float On by Modest Mouse. In at number 13 is 4 major 7th, 3 minor 7th, 2 minor 7th, 1 major 7th. This progression uses all 7th chords and it plays them in descending Roman numeral order. Playing chords in a descending order creates a downward melancholic feeling as we are drawn down towards the tonic chord. This wistful feeling is enhanced with the use of 7th chords. You can hear this in the Labyrinth Zone level from the Sega Genesis game Sonic the Hedgehog, and if you change the final chord to a standard 5 chord, then it's found in Let's Stay Together by Al Green. Next up is number 12 and 2 minor 7th, 5 dominant 7th, 1, 4 major 7th, 3 minor 7th. This is the first time we've heard a dominant 7th chord in this list. Listen to how it generates tension, which is released when the 1 chord is played after it. This is known as a perfect cadence. Hear this progression in the 80s favourite Take On Me by a-ha. In at 11 is 1 major 7th, 6 minor 7th, 2 minor 7th, 5 7 sus 4, 5 dominant 7th. This progression introduces the 7 sus 4 chord. If you are not familiar with this chord, don't panic. Just listen to how it provides a smooth step down to the standard dominant 7th 5 chord. It also provides a mellow companion to the major 7th 1 chord. Listen to this in the sublime What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. Next up at 10 is 4 major 7th, flat 7 major 7th, 1 major 7th. This progression introduces the interesting flat 7 chord. This is a common technique to repurpose the dissonant diminished chord that is played as the 7 chord in major keys. You take the root note of the 7 diminished chord, drop it by half a step and construct a major chord from this new root. Here it is played as a major 7th chord. You could also think of this as being borrowed from the parallel Mixolydian or Dorian keys. If this seems a bit confusing, don't worry. Just listen to how this all major 7th progression has a smooth feeling. Find it in the lovely My Cherie Amour by Stevie Wonder. Next up at 9 is 1 add 9, flat 7 major 7th, 4 add 9, 4. Here we see another use of the flat 7 major 7th. We also hear the add 9 chords. As the name suggests, these add a 9th note to the chord. This is the same as the second note, but an octave higher. Add 9 chords can add a feeling of strength to a chord sequence, introducing an interesting colour to the major sound. You can hear this progression in The Way It Is by Bruce Hornsby. We'll look at some minor key examples now, starting with 1, 4 minor 7th, 7, 3 major 7th. In minor keys you can play the 3 and 6 chords as major 7ths without any issues. As we saw earlier, major 7ths work well with minor 7ths. This is a nicely balanced progression between 7ths and standard triads. You can hear it in I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. Next up at 7 is 1, 1 minor 7th, 4 minor 7th, 5 minor 7th, 6 major 7th, 5 minor 7th. Here is a pleasing rising progression that blends minor and major 7th chords to create a smooth feel. You can hear it in Careless Whisper by George Michael. In at 6 is 6 major 7th, 4 minor 7th, 5 minor 7th, 1. This is almost a reversal of the previous progression, as we work down towards the 1 chord. Listen to it in Ain't No Mountain High Enough by Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell. Next up at 5 is 6 major 7th, 5 minor 7th, 4 minor 7th, 5 minor 7th, 1 minor 7th. Very similar to the previous example, but this time we are entirely using 7th chords. You can hear it in September by Earth, Wind and Fire. We'll look at some Dorian key examples now, starting with 1 minor 7th, 3 major 7th, 2, 4. The Dorian key has a smooth, mellow sound. Despite its minor nature, it's not as heavy or sad as the Aeolian/minor key. Our major 7th chords sound right at home here, alongside a minor 7th. You can hear this in the ethereal, bulletproof I Wish I Was by Radiohead. Into the top 3 now with 1 minor 7th, 3, 4, 1 minor 7th, 3, 7 major 7th. In Dorian keys you can use the major 7th as chords 3 and 7 without any issues. In this example you can see how changing a chord on repeat creates an interesting effect. You anticipate hearing the 4 chord again, but are instead hit with the smooth 7 major 7th. Listen to this in Run to You by Bryan Adams. Next up at number 2 is a Mixolydian example and 4 major 7th, 7 major 7th, 6 minor 7th. The Mixolydian mode is one that is used widely in lots of different styles of music, everything from pop to jazz and blues. Its distinctive major sound makes it very popular. A lot of classic rock relies on the 7 chord of the Mixolydian mode for its core sound. This example demonstrates the use of the major 7th in both possible positions, the 4 and 7 chords. You can hear it in Ready for the Weekend by Calvin Harris. We'll move to the Phrygian key now and discover our number 1 progression. 1, 2 major 7th, 6 major 7th, 7, 7 sus 2. The Phrygian mode has a distinctive intense and dark minor sound. Most associated with metal music, you can find it in all sorts of genres. Major 7th chords can be played as chords 2 and 6 in Phrygian keys. You can hear this example in One Kiss by Calvin Harris and Dua Lipa. And if you want more chord progressions, then click the playlist on screen now.